Ready, wait for it. You're dead. Dab. What the? What?
At one point, Fearless was the fastest growing gaming channel in YouTube history, pulling 50 million views on simple videos of him just messing around on Fortnite. But what if I told you that this wasn't luck, and it was actually all part of a plan to go viral? For starters, there's a mistake he made in his first and also lowest viewed Fortnite video that caused it to get less views. So let me know if you can see what it is.
And yeah, but you know what we're gonna do now? We're gonna play solo versus squads. That's so much fun. What that is going into squads.
Pause. This clip goes on for almost 40 seconds, and if something's gonna happen anyways, why explain it? These moments usually end up being really dry and can cause a lot of people to click off, so it's better just to say it as fast as possible with something like, now we're gonna do solo versus squads. Fearless ended up fixing its mistake in his later videos, which was obviously super important because the YouTube algorithm likes when people watch the videos for longer, but that's only the first thing he did to make his content so good. Another thing he always did really well was putting his videos first and his gameplay second. Let me explain. As I'm sure you'll remember, back in the day, winning a game was like the greatest feeling ever. Fearless obviously felt this too, but there were a lot of times where he put his content first. One example is this clip here where he barely escapes the storm and he's left on really low health. After this, he goes on to kill somebody else and eventually finds a much needed med kit, but instead of building to it properly, he purposely dies to make an entertaining moment for the video.
No!
But that's not all. Because, you see, Fearless had been doing YouTube for 3 full years with little to no success, but he learned something at the end of 2015 that would change his life forever. Back in those days, he was a Call of Duty YouTuber that mainly focused on trickshotting and sniping, but it was something else that would eventually give him his first taste of success. Take a look at this screenshot from his channel around 8 years ago. Can you spot the difference between the 2 videos that blew up and the group of other ones that didn't? From my point of view, the videos that did the best were aimed at the entire Call of Duty community. Everybody knows what a 1v1 is, and FaZe is the biggest gaming organization in history. So the combo of these two things made for a whole lot of views. On the flip side, by this point in time, the trickshotting niche had kind of passed, and any of the videos he posted on that, or just other videos with random titles, weren't doing that well. I mean, even if you look at somebody like Fe4RLess, his 2 biggest Call of Duty videos had nothing to do with trickshotting because realistically, it's only a very small subsection of people in the community, so there's a way smaller potential audience to reach. When Fearless eventually realizes this, he starts to only upload videos that aim to reach the biggest audience possible. This all started with the Kicked from FaZe video, and after making this change, he was starting to get millions of views per video. In fact, from this point on, there isn't a video on his channel that got under 1 million views, but let's be real, there's more to it than that. You've heard YouTubers say all the time that consistency is key, but how true is that? When this video was posted, it'd actually be the longest time between uploads in the history of his channel. There's 257 days between the two, and it was also coincidentally the longest video he'd ever posted on YouTube. And I mean, surely there's a reason for this, right? Think about it like this. It's pretty easy to make a good 1-minute YouTube video, and it doesn't take that long, so a lot of people can do it. However, making a good 10-minute video is a lot harder because it's 10 times the amount of time collecting clips and 10 times the amount of time editing the video. Because of this, longer videos are kind of like a commodity, as YouTube wants to keep people on their site for as long as possible, and since there's less competition for making the longer videos, you end up with a way higher chance that YouTube will recommend your content. These videos also make a lot more money from advertisers, which is a whole other topic I'm not going to get into today, but it just adds to the fact that YouTube wants what's best for them. If you look at all the people who consistently pull big views on YouTube, your Mr. Beast, the Nelk Boys, Laserbeam even, they may not post every week, they may not post every month, but when they do post, it's a carefully made 15-minute or longer video, and they always seem to do well. After only 5 videos with this strategy, Fearless gained 1 million subscribers. Much better than the 113 videos it took him to reach 100,000. But longer videos are no good if the content sucks. So what's his strategy to keep people watching? Now, I'm assuming most of you have watched Family Guy, but if you haven't, let me catch you up to speed. Each episode has a little bit of a plot, but at the end of the day, it's just a bunch of random clips and storylines put together in smaller parts. If they were just doing one thing the whole time, it'd get boring. Do you see where I'm going with this? Fearless does the same thing by having sniper clips, trolling, and funny moments all thrown together back to back to back, only keeping each clip going for as long as it's interesting. Say you have a video idea that's worked really well before, like getting a noob his first win. Realistically, there's only going to be a few good moments in that video. A normal YouTuber would get lazy and stretch it out to one 10-minute video, but Fearless just throws the best clips from that along with a bunch of other really good clips. This way, you can make sure there's interest in the video, but if people are getting bored of one section, a new one is right around the corner to keep them satisfied. Now, as we discussed earlier, using this strategy has its flaws because you're not going to be able to post videos as quickly, but you need to keep in mind, it doesn't really matter. YouTube saves data on every person that's ever watched one of your videos, and if you post crappy content that people click off from, they're probably never going to get suggested to you again. It's way better to wait a couple weeks or months to upload a good video than just rush one out in a week and it sucks and ends up getting a really low average view duration. But it's easy for me to just tell you guys to make good content, so let's look at some actual clips from his channel to see why they work so well. Let's start with the intro of his most viewed video ever. And when you're watching this, imagine it's 5 years ago and Fortnite's in its absolute prime.
Alright, one guy. Oh, I see him. Got him. Oh my god, let's go, baby. Just stop. Two-piece? Oh my god!
A few things to take note of here. The title and thumbnail essentially promise some crazy snipes, and that's exactly what the video starts with. Your intro needs to reassure the viewer that they're actually getting what they clicked for. This is one of the biggest things you need to do as a YouTuber. Make sure your intro reassures the viewer that they're gonna get what they clicked for. I cannot say it enough times. Please do this. Another thing I'd like to add is there's actually some dark psychology in the intro. And this is gonna sound nuts, but I promise it's true. If there's a song that you like and your brain's familiar with it, the second you hear it, your brain's gonna release dopamine. Because of this, he threw in this catchy song from Fortnite at the time, which means most of the viewers would have heard it before, giving them an instant connection to the video. Because, you know, science. If we move forward a little bit in the video, the viewer's given a couple snipes like they wanted, but in under a minute, it switches to a trolling clip just to make sure the viewer doesn't get bored. But wait, why are the trolling clips so good? It's a recurring theme in all of his videos and everybody seems to love them, so there has to be something we can dig up that can help us with our own channels. And to be honest, I think it all just comes back to being relatable. When we watch someone else play a game we like, we get some of the same feelings we get when we're actually playing it. That's why it's so hyped to watch someone win a game, hit a cool snipe, or mess with somebody in a solo match, because we sort of feel like we're doing the same thing. Especially in the case of these clips that don't happen that often, people came to Fearless for this feeling because they couldn't recreate it themselves. He managed to rinse and repeat the Aimbot format for 3 of the most viewed videos on his channel, which gained him over 3 million subscribers alone, a massive part of what pushed him over 10 million. May I remind you guys of the classic, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Now, not to take anything away from him, because he's clearly one of the greatest of all time, but I will say there's one major flaw with the way he made his content, and it's one of the biggest reasons he disappeared. Many clones have popped up over the years trying to recreate the success, but they all fall into the same trap. They film all the clips in one day and try to pump out a video as fast as possible. But this won't get you anywhere. It's different if you're posting something crazy like a 30 kill win, because people are clicking and expecting a full gameplay, but Fearless played for hours a day for multiple weeks or months to get all the clips he needed, because you're not always going to be able to just join a random duo and find some perfect and funny kid, but it gets to a point where this is unsustainable. And in this case, when Fortnite started to go downhill and became a lot less fun, it made it even harder to do this. This is why most creators try to branch out and start something like a podcast that's easy to make and repeatable, so they don't just fall off when the times get tough. Certain creators like Mr. Beast won't ever run into this issue because the videos are structured a lot differently, but if you think your channel is at risk of dying due to this, you need to either branch out to a different game, or probably the better idea is to make different content on the same game. With that being said, there's a lot of ways to speed up the process of getting clips. We already talked about him purposely dying earlier in the video, but another example is in any of these clips where people are singing, he's telling them beforehand to come up with their own rap, but he cuts that part from the video.
I play Fortnite every night. It's lit.
And I've mentioned this in my videos before, you might feel like a little bit of a scumbag doing certain things, but you gotta remember, a lot of the stuff on YouTube is fake, and if you want to be competitive, you gotta do it as well. Next, going back to what I said about the style of his videos, it also makes it so the content's bingeable. A lot of the views on Fearless's channel came from people watching one video and then going on to watch a bunch of other videos. Obviously, I'm not saying to stick to one thing forever, but you need to be smart about how you do it. Subscribe to help me feed my family.